All right, we are working on Kawasaki jet ski fuel sending units. The most common issue with these is these floats quit working. So first I'm going to start by explaining how they work. And then I'm going to explain how you can fix them without buying new. So first of all, you have 4 levels. You have from empty to quarter, from quarter to half, from half to 3/4, and from 3/4 to full. That's why you have 4 floats. Now both of these sending units are from different styles of Kawasaki. This is from an STX 900, which is the same as the STX 1100, I believe in 98, 99, and 2000 and up on the 900s. And I believe this might be from an STS, an older model. I'm not 100% sure, I just know they're both from Kawasaki's. The difference is one's longer than the other, so that has to do with the fuel tank. But they still work off the same principle. So what happens is, these are all going to be in the down position right now when it's empty, completely empty. The bottom float will come up when it's still a quarter full. The second float will come up, and now it's half full. When the third one comes up, it's 3/4 full, and when the fourth one comes up, it's full. It's all the way full. But all 4 of these floats need to float. If this bottom float quits floating and you're full of gas and these 3 are up, it's going to show empty because this bottom float is not floating. Now there's a magnet, it's a washer in here somehow that it reads. I believe it's these metal, well no, it'd have to be the actual float itself. Has some type of metal inside of it that it reads. So it's sensor driven. Basically from these floats, they have some type of metal inside of them that it reads the sensor. And so when the float quits floating, it doesn't read any longer. So how do you replace these floats? Well, first of all, this is copper. So it's the same thing that plumbing's made out of in houses. This bottom tip right here is actually soldered to the bottom of the copper here, and that is your stopper. Most of these will have a rubber piece that goes around this that kind of gives it something to stop on. This one did have it on it. I removed it recently. It'll have a metal clip around it that you want to just take off the metal clip and slide it forward. Then stick a screwdriver in there and then gently pry up and just pry it off. Once you get it off, you'll expose this bottom part here, which is basically the stopper. So what we need to do first is figure out which floats don't float. Those are the ones we need to replace. Now between these 2, I should be able to probably make one good one. Usually the floats that go bad are the bottom 2 floats. Usually, not always. But between 2 bad sending units, I should be able to make one. So what we need to do is find out which ones float. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, I bought myself 1.5 gallons of gas. I got myself an old simple green bottle. Hopefully it's not going to melt the plastic, the gas. We're not going to keep it in here very long. But we're going to pour the gas into here. This just needs to be able to go in far enough for all the floats to float. We're just making sure it's deep enough when it goes all the way in, and it is. So we should be able to see those float, okay? So that's the first thing we're gonna do here, is fill this up. The second thing I wanna do is be able to, if I do start leaking gas, I wanna quickly be able to empty it back into the gas can. So I'm gonna go ahead and have myself a funnel here, closely ready, so I can siphon it right back into the gas can when I'm done. So here we go, we're gonna go ahead and pour this gas into the bottle here. Whoops, I'm spilling a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and fill this up with gas. And this is just regular 87 octane. There's no oil in it, it's not pre-mixed or anything. We just need to see if it's gonna float. I don't wanna use water or anything else because I wanna be in a real live situation like it would be in the boat. Okay, so I want to see it float in gas. Okay, so the first one we're going to go ahead and put in. I'll angle it at an angle here so you can see. As you can see, the first float is floating. Second one is floating. Third one is floating. And the fourth one is floating. So this fuel gauge is actually good. That is a good fuel gauge with all 4 good floats. Now, this sending unit was out of a machine. Actually, it was out of a 750 STS Kawasaki that I parted out. So that explains why it's working. I parted this one out, and that's pretty cool. All the floats are working. That's kind of an interesting thing because I have a machine right now. Turn around and look over here. This machine right here is a 1998 Kawasaki STX, which is the same body style as the STS, and the fuel gauge doesn't work in it. So I actually may be able to use the fuel sending unit out of this one right here on that machine, and I'd have a good working sending unit. So I don't think I want to take the floats off of this, but what I will do is I will go ahead and continue doing what we're going to do, because this one should test bad if I'm right. So this one's a good sending unit. In theory, I could sell this sending unit or use it on another machine because they all floated. So that's exciting news. So we'll go ahead and set this one to the side. That one tests. Now if I'm right, this one's going to test bad. So we're going to find out right here. But I do have an issue with this clip where it's come off, and I want to get it off real quick. So we're going to get that off real quick. And then we'll use a regular hose clamp in the future to replace that clamp that's broken. So let's see if I can get that clamp off real quick. I don't know why it's broken like that, but so we'll go ahead and see if we can get that off. There we go. And we got that off, so we're good now to test. So here we go. I'm guessing this is going to have a bad flow. These all move freely, so here we go. First one does not float. See there? The first one is not moving. Second one, not moving. Uh-oh. Actually, it looks like all my floats are bad on this one. None of those floats are moving. Do you guys see that? Except for the top one. The top one does look like it's moving. The top one is the only one floating. Crazy. I'm going to add a little bit more gas to this so I can really get it in there and take a better look. Let's see if we can get a little bit more gas in here so we can really look at that top one. But as of right now, it looks like the only one floating is the top one. I'm a little excited that that other one is good, because I actually need to replace the fuel sending unit in that other one. All right, let's try again. So we should see these slide up if they're working, in which case I have not seen anything slide up. So here we go. Try again. Bottom one, nothing. Second one, nothing. Third one, nothing. And the fourth one is floating. You guys can see that float. So we're going to need to replace all three of these sending units. So first thing I want to do is go ahead, we talked about I don't really want to leave the gas in there because it's not a certified gas can. I don't want to take a chance on it melting, so we're going to go ahead and put the gas back in my gas here. And we can reuse this bottle later if we need to. And then I'm going to show you guys how to remove those floats without damaging this system. Obviously, if we put propane to it right now, we have fuel on it. That's kind of a scary situation. Could start a big fire. So I want to make sure we dry those off completely and get all the fuel off of that. That's the first thing. Secondly is we are spilled gas all over this table. So this table could become one big fire. So we need to dry this table off, get the gas can away from here, move it away. We're gonna go ahead and remove this sending unit from the table because I'm not gonna be messing with it. I'm anxious to put that in the other machine now though. Okay, we're going to clear space here. Okay, I gotta get this gas can out of here too. This thing here, it's got fuel in it. Or anything with flames or anything here. Okay, we're gonna take an air hose and we're gonna dry this off really, really good. Remember, the fuel should dissipate in the air here. This table should be fine once it dries here. Take an air hose, blow off everything. All right. Take an air hose and let it Now that that's dry, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a torch and we just wanna heat up the end here because it's soldered, and you can actually see the silver lead solder right there, and it goes all the way around. So we're just gonna heat that up and this should just pop off. So that's the idea. I'm gonna try to get this all cleaned up here a little bit. Once you get that tip off, the rest is super easy. The hardest part will be resoldering it back on. So I got myself a propane torch here. I'm gonna go ahead and, it's brand new, just purchased it because my old one went bad. We're gonna go ahead and there we go. Okay, I got myself a lighter deal. A little scary there, but okay, let me get something just to grab a hold of that tip to pull it away if it doesn't just fall. Something just to cut the strings with. Okay, so I got myself a nice set of needle nose pliers here. And I'm just going to heat it up. I'm just going to grab this like this and pull it away, hopefully. So here goes. Go ahead and turn this on. Now we just want to heat this up. And you can roll this if you need to. Remember, this is just like, there it goes. Coming off. Okay, there you go. That's simple. Now, we'll let that cool off. Now remember, all that is just a tip that we just soldered on to the end. Now, once this cools off, in fact, I'll get a little cup of water here just to help cool it along. All these floats will actually just slide right off. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this here on the tip so I don't overheat anything. That's good. And there's a float, a washer. Now inside, there's your metal that we talked about. So here's the metal we talked about, that it picks up the signal, and it sits inside the little float right here. So there's the little metal that's controlling the float. Now that float, the metal part is on the top of each float. So you want the plastic part facing down and the metal part on the top of each float. So you see there's one there too. Okay, so now I have a plastic, I have that, I have a plastic, and now I have a C-clip here. So every one of these sections is gonna have a C-clip. So all you have to do is pop off that C-clip. You get a little screwdriver here, and pop off the C-clip. Try not losing it. I lost it. Wonderful. You're gonna have to find that later. Okay, now the next one we're sliding off is a dual washer, because now everyone's gonna have a dual washer. So you got a dual washer above the C-clip, you got the float, you got the metal, piece of metal, which is a magnet. It actually sticks to the table. That's magnet. And then you have plastic, a skinny plastic. Now you have another C-clip. Put your hand behind the C-clip so it doesn't go flying like I just did. And there's the C-clip. Okay, now again, I got a double, a float. I got the magnet, and I have the plastic. Now I have another C-clip. Now, we already verified that this float floats. So I'm not gonna take it apart. There's no reason to. We'll leave that one on. We need to replace those 3 floats. So now, if I wanted to, I could do the same thing with the other sending unit, remove those 3 floats, put it on this, and I would know that I have a good one. But that other one's good, and I actually needed it for something. So what I'm going to do is remove my fuel sending unit from the other machine that I know is bad, and I'm going to do the same thing. I have one good float. Hopefully that other sending unit only needs one good float. Otherwise, I'm going to have to find another sending unit somewhere. Well, then again, I actually just mentioned I have, so here, point the camera over here. So this machine here, the sending unit doesn't work in. So I have a good fuel sending unit over there, the one that we just tested. So that'll go in this machine. I'll take the one that's in this machine out. Hopefully I'll have 1 or 2 good floats on that one. This machine over here, the fuel sending unit works fine. I don't have a problem, but there's another one over there, a yellow one. That's a 99. That one does not work properly. So I'll take that one out. Hopefully I'll have a good 1 or 2 floats on that one. And I'll only need 1 or 2, and I can take it between this machine and this machine to make one good one. So that's my goal at this point, is to make one good one out of those 2 machines. So, but hey, anyway, this is how it works. When you're all done, you're gonna need some lead solder and some flux. You can pick it up at your local hardware store. The flux basically just allows the solder to be drawn in. So what you wanna do is heat this up. You might need 2 hands. You're going to hold this, basically on the bottom like that again. You'll heat it up, and then you'll sit there with the solder, and you'll just solder it until it sticks, and that's it. That's how you fix it. Then you go ahead and put your rubber piece back on the bottom that came on it, and it's all set. You're fixed. That's how you repair one of these. Super easy to do. The biggest issue is that I have not been able to find anywhere where you can actually just buy these floats separate. So the best thing to do is do not throw away your used sending units and or your broken sending units, and then you can get some floats off the broken ones. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this helps you guys out. Have a great one.